Now let's look at how you graph an inequality. This is really pretty simple. If you want to graph the solution to an equation like x equals 5, you just put a dot on the number you want. So you'd have a dot, say, for example, on 5. To graph an inequality, we have to shade in all of the points that make the inequality a true statement. So, for example, to graph x is greater than 2, we want to shade everything on the graph that is greater than 2. 2 itself, while it is not included, is the cutoff point. We can show that by drawing a circle and leaving it open. To graph x is less than 4, we want to shade all of the points on the graph that would be less than the value 4. So again, we're going to put a line on the graph. 4 will be the cutoff point, but 4 is not actually included. 4 is not less than 4. To graph x is greater than or equal to -3, we'll need to use -3 as the cutoff point. Well, this time -3 is included because of the underline. -3 is equal to 3. And then we want to include all the values that are greater than -3. To graph x is less than or equal to 0, 0 will be our cutoff point. We will shade in the circle because 0 is included because of the underline there, and we'll shade everything to the left. Now let's put those two things together. To solve this inequality, we solve it just like an equation. Subtract 12 to cancel out the plus 12. There's our inequality, and the solution looks like this. To solve m minus 9 is greater than -4, we would add 9 to cancel out the subtract 9. Here's our solution, and the graph looks like this. To solve the inequality, 3k is greater than or equal to -15. We would divide both sides to cancel out the multiplication. Here's our solution. And the graph is all values that are greater than or equal to -5. Oops, I see an error. That should be filled in. And then finally, to solve this inequality, we divide by -7. Remember what happens when we divide by a negative, however. The inequality has reversed itself. And here's our solution, all values that are less than -6. Finally, here are two problems slightly more involved. I would recommend you pause briefly and try to solve it, and I'll put the solution up. Check your work.